All right then, gamers. Okay, all right then, gamers. So before this, I actually want to very quickly go over the response here. So, gamers, we've got a response from ArenaNet, from the big man himself, from Josh Grouch Davis. Let's see what he's got to say. Game director Josh Grouch Davis here. On Friday, we posted the profession update notes for the June 28th release, and since then there's been a lot of heated discussion about the changes and what they might mean for the game. I've read thousands of comments since Friday. I think there's plenty of reasonable feedback. There always is. I'm not here to address those issues individually, but rather I'd like to share some of my own perspective and talk about our next steps as a team. A clear direction. For this update, we opted to forego including design notes in the release notes that explain the why behind the changes, and instead chose to provide a general overview in the June Studio Update blog. This wasn't an arbitrary decision on our part, but in retrospect, it was the wrong decision. We'll change our approach for future updates. It's good to, honestly, I'd like to see them go even further than this. I'd actually really like to see them release it like 2 weeks or even a month before they do it, and then iterate. But I'm glad that they realized that maybe, you know, dropping this on a Friday before the weekend when they won't be able to respond, maybe not the play. Okay, that's. Oh no! It's much more difficult to assess a given change without a shared understanding of the underlying goal of the change and the problem it's trying to solve for. This is actually the biggest thing here. And this is a complaint that I really have about the balance in ArenaNet. Sometimes I really don't understand what their goals are or what the parameters are. Like, why is it that some classes have massive trade-offs but others don't? Why isn't that being addressed? Why is that not seemingly ever on the radar, right? And you can go on, right? Like, why do some professions have every boon and some professions only have like a few of them, right? What do they want to do here, right? Like, it's very, very weird, some of these decisions here, and they don't seem to account a lot of this stuff. Like, they don't think about utility on DPS classes, melee versus ranged, right? There are loads of these outstanding issues, and I would really love to see their opinion and their take and essentially their response and vision regarding some of these wider balance issues that are really starting to pop up now, especially considering that we're now in Fiesta time, okay? We need to share. Oh, look, the man himself, he's got it on lock. We need to share the long-term vision for Guild Wars 2 profession balance and how it applies to PvE, PvP, and World vs. World. This has been provided piecemeal over the years, and some of it has bubbled up through the unofficial channels without full context. Referencing the leaks. Ooh. We haven't provided anything official. I think this is really important to notice, guys. Like, the leaks, they obviously didn't come off super well, but it is worth noting that it wasn't in an official capacity, and the way a developer would speak privately and publicly is going to be totally different. And I'd actually encourage everyone here to go ahead and kind of do this as well, right? Like, if you look at the way official communications are compared to stuff that maybe has bubbled up unofficially, you'll see the communication style is very, very different, right? And that is worth noting. Yeah, this statement is also, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a meme, okay? Good opportunity to introduce. Oh, Cameron Rich is now actually kind of a big man on skills and design. That's actually very positive because I think he does know what the hell he's doing right there. Okay, he knows what he's doing there as well. Yeah, I think. To be honest, I don't think Grouch could say this. So in a way, let me kind of say it for him here. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Like, this is my opinion on this situation. This is no affiliation with ArenaNet in any way, to be clear, guys. But I do think it really is worth noting. There is a huge distinction between speaking publicly and privately. And I think everyone here is aware of that. Like, when you talk to your friends in direct messages, you're going to talk a little bit differently when you're talking to your family or at work or in school, right? Or whatever, right? There's a big difference there. You might be more direct. You might be more flippant, right? You might be a little bit more hyperbolic, right? In some of these situations. That is worth noting. And I do want to just go ahead and say there before people start calling me a white knight or an ArenaNet simp, I actually disagree with ArenaNet's balanced design choices historically, and you can check my track record for that. I don't think I agree with almost anything in this patch, to be honest, and in general in a lot of the way they've been pushing the PvE design of Guild Wars 2 in terms of skills for a very, very long time, just for a little bit of context there. But I think that I think that it's really important to actually go that, okay, right, like, do they really mean this? Do they really want, you know, the players to suffer and be miserable? Probably not, right? Okay, probably not. As game developers, it's our mission to deliver experiences that our players will love. One of the best ways to achieve it, including the voice of the player. Oh, now that is a spicy one, okay? We don't have a definitive solution yet, but there are plenty of options for us to evaluate with different costs and trade-offs to each. What I do know, it's my responsibility to the team and our players to ensure that developers have the tools they need to do this job. And player feedback is one of the most powerful tools we have in our toolbox. What I can commit to today is that going forward, we'll preview our balance changes much further in advance. That's huge. Even if it means that the changes are still in progress, very fucking good. Yes. This will give the team time to assess feedback and make any necessary changes prior to okay, this is honestly, this is the good paragraph. This is the good memes. Good fucking shit. That, if they actually do that, thumbs up, okay? Will they listen to feedback? Who knows? But I really like that this is the direction they're going to try and go for there as well. I wonder, I mean, and this means that essentially, like, these, to an extent, some of the more private discussions are essentially going to go into the public, right? I recognize that some of you are frustrated. Through the years, Professor Balance hasn't always received the long attention deserved. Yeah, that's an understatement of the century right there, okay? Guild Wars 2 is a live game, meaning that it will continue to grow and evolve in the years ahead. On the whole, it's very different today compared to where it started 10 years ago, and those changes didn't come all at once. Similarly, addressing core issues in profession balance design is going to be long-term incremental effort, and this is kind of what I was critiquing here. A lot of the problems that I have aren't really the numbers, and actually, funnily enough, I think that most people don't really have problems with the numbers. The numbers are just window dressing, you know, you can move those up and down. What people really get frustrated by is design, like the design of Scourge, the design of Firebrand, the design of Mechanist, and the fact that they're so oppressive, and ultimately even kind of the design of stuff like banners and spirits, right? Kind of being very oppressive. And that's actually what people don't like. And honestly, I think ArenaNet should focus on that heavily. I think they sometimes miss the point, right? That they try to add other options, but they're incomplete options, and those options, like Warrior and Tempest, get bullied by the oppressive design of things like Mechanist and Firebrand, right? And that's where the underlying issue is. Tomorrow morning, the June 28th update will release. We'll go live with the balance patch previewed on Friday. Hell yeah. As soon as we can, we'll follow up with the design notes for the update. From there, we're going to be reading your feedback, evaluating the impact of the changes, and determining our next steps. We added a follow-up balance update to our release schedule in the coming weeks. Oh, good. That's very juicy. Mid-fall, we'll have our next major professions update. Somewhere in between, we'll share our profession balance policy. Ooh, oh man, this would never happen, but I'd love to have a stream where I could just chat like with CMC, with the skills team. That would be so fucking sick. If they, honestly, even if I'm not on it, just if they live stream this and just talked about balance, that would be so fucking good. A post, though, it'll have to do. I'd like to thank those who have approached in the civil matter. To those that have chosen extreme toxicity, core developers be found at death threats, you're not welcome to our community. Giga Chad Grouch right there. You love to see that. Yeah, okay, listen. ArenaNet, I'm going to warn you. If you guys try to defend ARMS having a 5% crit trait, it's not going to go well. Just ignore that one, right? Look, the thing that really worries me about this is that I'm a little bit worried they might try and defend some genuinely horrible changes. Why is there a conditional crit chance, right, in air now? Why is there 5% crit? Why is there 5% crit in arms? These are some very, very questionable design decisions, I think. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough sell, right? Why is there only 5% crit in Virtuosa, right? You know, it's a little difficult here. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough. I'm very worried that they might try and, like, do some RP. Like, oh, but look at ARMS. It's got loads of crit in it. Well, yeah, but the thing is, you can't balance the game entirely around RP, right? You have to actually think about gameplay implications, too. I don't know. I'm going to be really interested to see what they end up writing here, but I'm not going to lie. I am a little sus, right? Some of this stuff is a tough one, right? It's a tough one. Why are we just, you know, deleting signet share from the game? I mean, I don't know. That one's maybe a little bit more defensible, I guess. It's to make the game easier. But I think what they need to address here is a very big criticism. A lot of the changes that ArenaNet have been doing haven't just been lowering the skill floor. Everyone here, and honestly, the hardcore scene, are in favor of lowering the skill floor to make the game more accessible. The problem is that some of the changes attack the skill ceiling, right? And attack class synergy, like one wolf pack, right, getting nerfed. That's a synergy thing, and it reduces the amount of synergy and reduces the amount of skill, right? Nerfing signet share, this just reduces synergy, reduces skill. And so you're kind of hitting the skill ceiling at the same time as the floor. That's very problematic. But yeah, we'll see what they say there. And we actually do have a follow-up to this, and we'll just quickly go over that right before the patch, because there's a follow-up. Wait, hang on, never mind. That's the same one. I need to go to the follow-up here. Let's go. Another comment from Grouch here. Here we go. Wait, what? That didn't work at all. Why didn't it work? I want to see the comment. Added some responses here. Okay, hang on. Is it this one? Do I have to click? Okay, here we go. Ah, yeah, here we go. Got some questions here. Why aren't you holding the update? It's not feasible from a tech standpoint. Yeah, this is... Go on, guys. They can't, like, just stop the patch. It's not really possible to do that. It's all blended together, right? Like, the game is huge, and when you actually have a patch come through, it's all, like, smushed together. They could delay the patch, then they'd have to delay the CM, like some of the accessibility features, right? The Mordoroth Legendary. That is not going to be good, okay? That's a very, very not good idea. In fact, this patch probably when, you know, essentially this is going to happen quite a while ago, right? It's not like, oh yeah, we just like, on Friday, yeah, now the patch is going to happen there, right? So yeah, it is what it is, right? They've got to live with it and fix it. That's not really a surprise whatsoever. There's nothing concrete in the post. What are you doing to fix this? I get wordy. Here's a bullet point accepts. The skills and boundaries is drafting design notes. I'm going to own resolving the internal processes that prevent us from including the design notes up front. Yeah, okay, I get it. And we're going to publish a blog post that details the balance philosophy for Guild Wars 2. Very good. This one is the big one, by the way. This one is huge, right? This is absolutely massive. We need to preview updates earlier so we're never in this situation again. We need to solve how we're going to go about getting balance sphere up from qualified individuals. Eliminate the unofficial back channels. I'm going to own finding the right solution for this. Honestly, I think maybe a private area on the forums. I think World of Warcraft has something like this, actually, where certain individuals who kind of give good feedback can actually be added. And that could be all skill levels too. So I actually think like a semi-private board. What I mean is a board that only certain people can post on, and it could be public. So people can look in on it, right? Look in on it, right? But not everyone can post, right? Because obviously, you know, if you don't want it to be like completely spammed with like a million people. You need to be a little bit selective with the way you gather feedback. Otherwise it just doesn't work, right? Yeah, I like this. I like this. This is good stuff. Why aren't you posting about it today? Doesn't it exist? Well, they've got it. Yeah, it exists. Yeah, I mean, this is like a very annoying question, I think, for ArenaNet, because of course it exists, but they probably just don't have it written down. And they also want to be very careful with expressing it correctly. And they also mention here that they want to actually bring everyone in on it, right? They'll probably have CMC talking about it. Cam is now involved, right? And Floyd dropped the World Bus as well. Big Man as well. He's in the mix there too. That's really cool stuff, right? Yeah, look, skills and balance falls under Cameron Rich. Now that is exciting. That's a nice little bonus meme there as well, right? Very cool stuff. Yeah, so this is like a very basic question, right? Like, you know, you've got to be careful with communication. Honestly, the entire leak debacle tells you that you've got to be careful with communication, right? Obviously. A balance team was just created after Ender Dragons. Why wasn't there a balance team before? I'd like to clarify by code. Guild Wars 2 has a balance team in the past, no doubt. For Ender Dragons, yeah, I mean... Our profession designers were asked to turn their full attention towards building elite specs, which ultimately meant that live balance updates were few and far between. As we were building our dev plans for post-EOD, I felt very strongly we needed to staff a full-time balance team that supports the live game. So basically, even when they're doing elite specs or new skill stuff, they're going to have balance anyway, right? Which is really, really important. So just a quick clarification there. In general, oh man, like this post, I think it's really good. It's a well-written response here from Grouch. I will 100% say that. It absolutely is well-written. However, I am a little concerned that, well, okay, and to be honest, I understand this. Like, Grouch obviously isn't going to, like, throw the team under the bus, right? And certainly not yet. They want to have, like, a proper analysis of it before they would go about maybe looking at mistakes and admitting mistakes. But I do think that they should be very candid and say, yeah, we realize that these changes weren't that good, right? And didn't address issues within the game. If they don't do that, I'm going to be pretty critical of ArenaNet, to be honest. And that post, obviously, that doesn't go super hard on that, because obviously they've got to figure it out. But, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it would have been nice to see, like, yeah, okay, we realize that maybe this isn't that good. And it kind of said that in the first part. I think it was something like, sometimes it can, you know, sometimes we miss the mark, sometimes we make mistakes. So there's a little bit of that kind of blended into that, but it's a meme. It's a meme content, right? But It is what it is. It is what it is. We'll see the future, but it's really good to see some communication. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to the balance philosophy post. That's going to be super sick. The follow-up patch is great. Hopefully 2 weeks or 4 weeks down the line, addressing some of the balance issues and kind of tuning things up a little bit. That's awesome stuff. I love to see that. So overall, pretty positive here as well. I actually might follow up... I might make a video kind of talking about this very candidly myself, actually, so stay tuned for that, everyone, because I do feel the need to speak up here a little bit, actually. I do. I feel the need to speak up a little bit on these issues, so stay tuned for that, but that is going to about do it, because we've got some Harvest Temple Challenge mode to play right now, so never mind that, gamers. Okay, we'll talk about this a little bit later. Let's get into business. Let's fucking go.